All right, welcome. Today we're going to crack open India's union budget for 2026-27. And look, this isn't just some boring spreadsheet of money in, money out. It's supposed to be a roadmap for India's entire future. So what's really going on behind all these numbers?
And that really gets us to the heart of it. Is this budget just the usual annual financial statement, or is it something, well, bigger? Is this the actual game plan to turn India into a developed nation by 2047, right when it hits its 100th year of independence?
To figure that out, we got to zoom out and look at the big picture. The government has built its whole vision around these three core duties, or kartavya, that it believes are the key to becoming a developed nation.
So what are these three duties? First, to hit the accelerator on economic growth, even when things globally are, a little shaky. Second, to help people achieve their dreams by investing in their skills and potential. And third, to make sure this development is truly inclusive, that it actually reaches every single family and community out there.
Okay, so accelerate growth. Sounds great, right? But how do you actually do it? Well, the budget is zeroing in on three really critical parts of the economy: manufacturing, that huge network of small businesses, and the services sector, which is just getting bigger and bigger. The first big push is all about manufacturing. The idea here is to build up our own capabilities in high-tech fields, so we can become more self-reliant and not have to depend on other countries for really important stuff.
And this isn't just talk. We're looking at real plans, like a phase 2 for the semiconductor mission, a huge push in pharmaceuticals, and even getting into manufacturing rare earth magnets. And those are absolutely critical for everything from the phone in your pocket to our national defense systems.
Now, one really interesting focus here is on something called biosimilars. It's kind of a new frontier for affordable medicine. So think about it like this. A generic drug is an exact copy of a medicine. A biosimilar, on the other hand, is a biological product that's super similar, but not identical. It's a subtle difference, but it's a huge deal, because it could make advanced healthcare way more accessible for a lot more people. All right, next up, MSMEs. That's micro, small, and medium enterprises. And let me tell you, these businesses are the absolute backbone of our economy. I mean, they create millions of jobs and are responsible for almost 40% of the country's exports. That's huge. So, to help them really succeed, the budget is rolling out this three-part support system. It's designed to make it easier for them to get funding, provide them with expert help to deal with all the complicated rules, and, maybe most importantly, make sure they have the cash on hand to keep their businesses running smoothly day to day. The budget also has its eye on the services sector, especially this booming thing called the creator economy. We're talking about content creators, animators, gamers, the whole shebang. Right now, it's a $28 billion industry. And get this, it's projected to explode to $44 billion in just a few years.
And to really get that fire going, the plan is to set up animation and gaming labs in 1,500 schools and 500 colleges. It's all about making that vision of create in India, create for the world, a real, tangible thing for our young talent.
But, for all this economic activity to work, it needs something strong to stand on. And that's where the next big focus comes in. Huge, massive investments in the country's physical infrastructure.
Just take a look at this number. Over the last decade, we've seen a 6-fold increase in capital expenditure. That's the money that goes into creating things that last. Roads, ports, railways, the stuff that will be powering our economy for a very long time.
A simple way to think about CapEx is this. It's the government investing in actually building the house, not just paying the monthly bills. And every single rupee that goes into it has this multiplier effect, creating jobs and boosting the economy in all sorts of ways.
And this money is funding some real game changers. We're talking about dedicated corridors just for goods trains so they can move way faster. 7 new high-speed rail lines to connect our big cities, a whole network of national waterways for transport, and even investing in new tech for a cleaner energy future. But it's not all about giant projects and big numbers. This budget really does try to focus on people's centric development, making sure that nobody gets left behind in all this. Take this, for example. There are 2 new schemes being launched to support people with disabilities. The Bikasit Yojana is all about providing real industry-relevant skills to open up better job opportunities. And then there's the Sahara Yojana, which will make sure people have access to the essential support and devices they need.
So, after all these big, ambitious plans, it all comes down to the basics, doesn't it? Where does all the money come from, and where does it all go?
Let's take a peek inside the nation's wallet.
So if you break down every single rupee the government gets, the biggest piece of the pie actually comes from borrowing. After that comes the income tax that people like you and me pay, then the tax that big companies pay, and finally, the goods and services tax, or GST. And where does that rupee go? Well, the largest chunk gets shared with the states, so they can run their own programs. A pretty big slice goes just to paying the interest on money we've borrowed in the past, and the rest is spent on government schemes, our defense, and all the other essentials. This all leads to a really important idea: fiscal consolidation. Put simply, it's the government's long-term strategy to be responsible with its money by keeping its borrowing under control. The whole goal is to make sure the nation's finances stay strong and healthy for the long haul.
And the numbers actually show some good news here. Last year, the government's fiscal deficit was actually lower than what it was aiming for. That's a really strong sign that things are moving in the right direction when it comes to managing the economy.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? You know, this whole budget, it's really a massive balancing act. It's trying to hit the gas on growth, build for the future, and lift up every single citizen, all while keeping the nation's finances healthy. And that leaves us with the big question, right? Can this plan actually pull it off? Can it deliver prosperity for everyone and keep the economy stable? The answer to that? Well, that's going to shape India's story for years to come. Thanks for diving in with us.